snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys! So I am here today to do something very exciting, and that is a triple review, and it's going to be talking about 3 books that are all in the same series, and this was actually a reread for me, so that's super exciting. As you guys have probably guessed, it is Harry Potter! I'm going to be talking about Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the illustrated edition, because this is the format that I reread it in. And then also I'm going to talk quickly about Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which is number 2 in the series, and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which is number 3 in the series. So let's start off with the illustrated edition, which is quite a monster to hold, so please forgive me if I hit myself in the head with it because it's huge, or if I drop it suddenly because, again, it's pretty big. So as you have all probably seen this, it is by J.K. Rowling, as are all of the Harry Potter books, but the illustrated version also has Jim Kay, who is the illustrator, and I think you'll all agree just from the front cover, he has done an exceptional job of capturing the magic and the quirky fun of Hogwarts and the wizarding world. I think that this is approachable for anyone and everyone who has never read Harry Potter before. This is the book to do it for you because it's such an easy way to get into a story, and having pictures really helps kids who are young or anyone who just wants to enjoy it a bit more. I think pictures in books is something that we don't see a lot in the adult fiction genres, and I really wish we did sometimes, because I do think that although imagination is great and it's lovely to be able to imagine your own versions, sometimes you get things that are a little bit far out, and the concepts or the idea of them kind of would be great to have a little illustration just to prompt your mind into exactly what they look like. And I do think that Jim Kay has been very accurate with his depiction of some of the things in this book, whereas the films of the Harry Potter, although I absolutely adore them all, I don't think they were as accurate. For example, Harry has green eyes in the book but doesn't in the films, and in this one he does have green eyes, which is great because it's just one of those things that's like a tiny little niggle, but really great in the actual illustrated edition. I actually read this with Mercedes and Chelsea, whose channels I will link down below. This is the interior end page, which I'm sure you will all agree is absolutely stunning. It's a picture of the Great Hall, we think, in Hogwarts. We all commented on that when we were reading it and said that it was exceptionally beautiful. This is another page that I absolutely adore. It is of one of the owls who delivers the letters soaring over in the blue skies, and it's just beautiful. Hagrid soaring over some of the houses as he delivers Harry on his motorbike. All sorts of exceptional drawings later on as well. One of my favourite pages was this one, which is the depiction of Diagon Alley. If you guys don't know the story of Harry Potter, then I'm not sure where you've been, but basically he is a young boy who discovers he's a wizard and ends up going to a magical school called Hogwarts. And as he goes there, he has to pick up all the things along the way to help him learn magic, and Diagon Alley is the place that he goes to do this. We have some pages that are very dark and they fill the whole page, and they're very beautiful but gloomy and sad, and I really felt like the atmosphere was there for those pages and really worked. We also have some pages which are just great and fun and charming, and seeing them and seeing how the characters emotionally connect with one another and seeing their smiles and their faces was really wonderful and really heartwarming at different moments of the book. So I obviously couldn't really give this any lower than a 5 stars because I knew that I would love it going into it because I've already read it multiple times in the past and really loved it. But the illustrations were definitely superior to what I thought they would be. I think my only criticism, and we all discussed this as a group when we read it, Mercedes and Chelsea and I, was that the Great Hall wasn't depicted at Christmas time, and we felt like that really would have been a great scene that kind of lent itself to being drawn but wasn't included, and we can only assume that this is because maybe he only had a certain amount of space for illustrations and printing costs and things like that. It's a beautifully put together book. I absolutely adored it, and rereading the story was fantastic. But I will say that this is probably the weakest of the 3 that I reread in terms of the characterization and the world development. It's definitely more about the magic and the plot and the excitement of discovering that he's a wizard. So if you like the sound of that and you've never ever read Harry Potter before, please do pick this one up because it's fantastic and I think you'll all enjoy it. And if you have read Harry Potter and you love it, then definitely pick this one up as well because it's utterly fantastic. I gave it a massive 5 out of 5 stars, of course. could not really resist it. It's just marvellous, and yeah, fantastic illustrations. I will definitely be picking up all of the other illustrated editions when they come out. I believe he's going to be doing one a year until the fourth book, and then from the fourth book onwards he will be doing one every 2 years, because they get a lot longer and will need a lot more illustrations as it goes on. But I cannot wait to see the rest of them, because I know it's going to be exceptional, and they are so much fun. And it gives us all an excuse to reread Harry Potter like every year or every 2 years, which is totally fine with me. 5 stars for that one. We then all moved on to the second book in the series, which is The Chamber of Secrets, and I was talking to Mercedes about this, and she was saying that this was probably her least favourite in terms of when she reread it before. She didn't really care about it that much, and she just didn't connect as much with the characters, but she had taken quite a step back from the series, and this time around she said it was one of her favourites, and definitely was a lot better than she expected it to be. And I was so happy to hear that, because it was also the same for me. I definitely felt like this wasn't going to be one I would love as much as the first one, but I actually enjoyed this a little bit more than the first one, because although we still have the wonder, we still have the plot, we still have the mystery element, we have the mystery of the Chamber of Secrets itself and what's going on, and I thought that was all very fun, because obviously I loved it as a kid. But we also get to know the characters more in this one. We get to know Hermione and Ron more, whereas in the first book I felt like we only sort of touched the surface with them. This one we do get to see them more, and it starts to become a lot more like a proper relationship between the three of them. We see them really bonding over the things that they get up to, and we see their progression as characters generally, and I did really enjoy that. So that was awesome. I ended up giving this one a massive 5 out of 5 stars as well, but it was probably just a tiny bit ahead of the first book. Even though the first book has the illustrations and is lovely, I still really enjoyed this. I will say I am pretty terrified of the fact that Jim Kay is going to be illustrating this, and there is a scene with an awful lot of spiders that I do not like spiders, and he had quite a lot of spiders in the first one. Like, the first book just had spiders every now and then, which creeped me out, so imagining what he's going to do for the scene with the spiders in this one is gonna be horrendous, but probably also very beautiful, because he can draw, the man can draw, and so I'm sure it'll be magical and amazing. But yeah, snakes and spiders are not my favourite thing, and they both feature in this book, so that could be quite interesting when we get to the illustrations. But on the whole, this was another excellent story from JK, and I just can't really resist these books, so 5 out of 5 stars for that one, again on the reread. But my favourite of the three so far has got to be Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which is an exceptional read. I just really feel like this is the turning point for the series. Again, this is something we all discussed, and we all felt like this is the turning point. This is where the series starts to become a little bit darker. We start to see that there are more menacing things out in the wider wizarding world, and we get introduced to that. For example, Dementors and werewolves and creepy things and horrible dark art creatures. We get introduced to all of that, and we also meet some of the major characters who we're going to focus on later in the series. We meet Sirius Black, who is a very scary sounding character. We also get to meet Lupin, who is a great character. I absolutely adore him. And we also get to meet Harry and his friends once again as they go on all of these adventures again. And it's fabulous to see them, and fabulous to see them interacting with the wizarding world, and see them sort of doing new things, discovering new things, seeing Floo powder for the first time, seeing how that's going to play into the wider series later on, seeing them back at Diagon Alley with their friends in tow, and just so many more things that were just exceptionally fun to relive. I always forget how much the films leave out, and then when you reread the books you really get to understand how much there is that is just missing from the films and is still so magical when you read the books again for the second time, or the third, or the fourth, or however many times you want to read them. This one was definitely my favourite so far. I remember that the fourth one was my favourite when I first read them, so I wonder if that's going to be the case on the reread, but so far I have been absolutely adoring seeing them progress, seeing them grow, and seeing the world expand and get more and more exciting and darker and gloomier and just become great, really. So I absolutely love this. Of course, another 5 stars, and I would love to hear your thoughts on the first 3 Harry Potter books. If you guys have read them, I'm sure most of you have, then do leave me your thoughts down below. Do you love them? Do you hate them? I know some people don't like them, which is kind of crazy to me, but everyone is entitled to their own opinion. But for me, they will always hold a very special place in my heart. They are wonderful, and I cannot live without rereading them every now and then because they are just so fun and such comfort reads and so emotional. And I did shed a few tears in a few of them. There are some really, really wonderful lines. I believe in the ending of this one there is a line that just made me chuckle so much, so I'm just going to read it out. So I wouldn't listen if you haven't already read this book, because it will contain a slight spoiler about Harry and his relatives and his family, so don't listen if you haven't read the third book of Harry Potter. But the end page reads, "What's that?" he snarled, staring at the envelope Harry was clutching in his hand. "If it's another form for me to sign, you've got another." "It's not," said Harry cheerfully. "It's a letter from my godfather." "Godfather?" spluttered Uncle Vernon. "You haven't got a godfather." "Yes, I have," Harry said brightly. "He was my mum and dad's best friend. He's a convicted murderer. But he's broken out of wizard prison, and he's on the run. He likes to keep in touch with me, though. Keep up with my news. Check I'm happy." And, grinning broadly at the look of horror on Uncle Vernon's face, Harry set off towards the station exit, Hedwig rattling along in front of him for what looked like a much better summer than the last. So that one just made me laugh so much. I absolutely loved that. Then the ending of the second book was also so great. It made me laugh so well. I think she's just great at ending books. So I'm just going to read the ending of the second book as well. And again, don't listen if you haven't read the second book. But the ending of the second book is, this is Hermione talking, by the way. "Your aunt and uncle will be proud, though, won't they?" said Hermione as they got off the train and joined the crowd thronging towards the enchanted barrier, "when they hear what you did this year." "Proud?" said Harry. "Are you mad? All those times I could have died, and I didn't manage it. They'll be furious." And together they walked back through the gateway to the Muggle world, and that just made me chuckle so much. I think she's just an excellent, excellent writer, and those sort of lines have such an emotional connection and moment for you when you reread them or when you just enjoy them, and I love that so much. So Harry Potter is an excellent series in my opinion. Do let me know your opinion down below. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all very soon, hopefully with some more reviews of the later books coming up fairly quickly. We'll see, and I will see you all again soon. Bye! Me and you gonna have a little chat